FM, West Palm Beach, Real Radio 92.1, powered by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Been in an accident? Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Navigating today's real estate market can be tricky. Want to buy or sell a house? Finance or insure a house? Or stuck with a house and don't know what to do? Florida Talk Real Estate has been your local one-stop real estate shop since 2012. Get the advice you need from your local real estate pros. Here are your hosts, Jim DiPaola and Johnny C. live on Real Radio.
Oh, it's good Saturday morning, and I hope you're having a phenomenal one like we are. Great to have you with us every single Saturday. Whether you're on 92.1, 101.7 on the radio, you're free download your iHeartRadio app. That means we are worldwide. And of course, we go live on a couple of social media streams for you. You can find us on Facebook, Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. Thanks for joining us right out the gates here on a Saturday morning, or on YouTube. Find us at Florida Talk Real Estate LLC on YouTube as well. As I say, good morning to you. I'm your boy, Johnny C. How about a starting lineup on a Saturday morning? Let's go ahead and say good morning to my guy, your guy. It's the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Hello, Mike Rauch. Good morning, my friend.
What is up, Johnny C? Good morning to you. Good morning, South Florida audience.
Yeah, we take a week off, and it feels like a month, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was nervous that we weren't going to be on this morning, too. I was like, geez, 2 in a row. But we made it. We're here.
We did. Look at this. The team is assembled. Wouldn't be full assembled, though, if we didn't go to my left. If you're that'd be, I guess, my right on the screen. I'll figure it out one of these days. If you're looking at a screen right now, you got Facebook, YouTube going. In the upper left-hand corner there, you're going to see Jimmy D. You can call him Jimmy D if you'd like. That's Jim DiPaola. You know, he runs the top-producing Keller Williams team. If you don't know, well, you're about to know. It's the Florida Home Pros with Keller Williams Innovations. Good Saturday morning to you, Jimmy D. Jim DiPaola, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Johnny. Happy South Florida. I'm over here in Orlando for the National Keller Williams Convention. So we're going to talk a little bit about Keller Williams today.
Ooh.
And the brokerage. We're going to talk about Super Bowl weekend last week, because that's where I was. I was out in Los Angeles last week, which is why we didn't have the show last week. So I have some stories about that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And interest rates are breaking multi-year records. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Economy seems like it's heating up more and more. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, we had our very first call for a foreclosure related to COVID in a way.
Really?
So, yeah. So just like Paul Krasker said, we got one of those phone calls. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, because we know that there's going to be people out there that are going to get those kind of phone calls, and we're going to show that how we can help them. And finally, student loan, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. We haven't talked about student loans in a long time, but the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has come out saying that a whole bunch of those student loan companies are not handling their customers truthfully. And it's costing the customers tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan for many of these people, and they're trying to put a stop to it. We've been dealing with it for years and years and doing it the right way, so we're going to talk to you about that.
Awesome. I got a question. Mind if I jump into a question right out the gates?
Please.
Is that your first Super Bowl that you attended?
I didn't go to the Super Bowl. Okay, so I was out there for the Super Bowl parties. Okay, so yeah, so but I got to tell you, it was pretty wild being a club watching the Super Bowl live in Los Angeles when Los Angeles won. That was pretty intense.
I can imagine.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we were at the Antonio Brown Super Bowl party. That's where we were on Sunday, at the Super Bowl viewing party. And Antonio Brown wasn't there. So typical AB stuff. But
I think that's probably pretty common in the whole celebrity endorsement world, right? Where maybe the celebs don't show up where they're supposed to be, or at the appointed time.
I learned so much about the inside like how things work on the inside of like how they book events and like celebrities booking events and what they get paid for. And it's pretty amazing. I don't feel comfortable talking about all of it because Jared has a company to run and he's got to, run with those dogs. I just kind of sit on the periphery and watch and help him out the best I can. So I have the fun part. Jared's the one where his face gets all red and it looks like he's getting grayer hair every day.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, we're talking about Jared Perry, and clearly, yes, his CPA aspect is huge here, but player performance first gives him a lot of access through that company for people like Jim to go hang out in LA for Super Bowl parties.
Yeah, so what happened was let me tell you talk about Jarrett Bacon, right? This is, we call Jarrett Bacon Perry because he has 6 degrees of separation to almost anybody you want in the country, right? I found out over the trip that if Jarrett's people, one of Jarrett's people, one of the partners, his name is Jeff, he said that if I needed to, I could probably within 20 minutes get to the president, right? Now, I don't know this guy, Jeff, very well. So I was quiet for a second and I go, do you mean Trump? Because I couldn't tell, what the guy is like, Trump. No, I know Eric really well. I could just pick up the phone and call Eric, right? He goes, no, I'm talking about Biden, right? And so like Jared's whole network of people, they can get to it seems like they can get to almost everybody. I'm being exaggerating, but it is like a Kevin Bacon 6 degrees thing. So
I think President Trump might actually need a CPA or a new CPA here recently,
right? Right. So here's exactly. I hear they need a new. That's right, Mike. I didn't get that right away. That's funny. I'm tired still. I'm at the convention. So this is what happened with Jared. Jared has a rapper named Rico Cash, and he's really starting to blow up. And apparently, rapping is all a regional thing. So he's in the Atlanta area, and he's really blowing up Atlanta. But you really want to try to get to Los Angeles, New York, and Miami. Those are the other markets. So Jarrett did a birthday party for Rico last month at a club in South Beach. And I don't know how Jared did it, but he got all these personalities to come out. Like Busta Rhymes came out, and LeBron James was supposed to come because he was in town, but he didn't. And then Antonio Brown was there. And a couple other pretty big celebrities there, and the place was packed. Well, there just happened to be a promoter for a company called Ethica, which is a clothing line. It's kind of like Under Armour. And they said, we want you to do a Super Bowl gig out in Los Angeles for us to promote our company. Do you want to make that happen? Now, this is like 6 days before the Super Bowl. So Jared said, yeah, because it was a great opportunity for Rico. So he booked 3 events at the same club, Friday night, Saturday night, and then Sunday was the viewing party for Antonio Brown. So Friday night, he was supposed to open for 50 Cent. And then Saturday night, he was supposed to open for Tory Lanez, which is some big time rapper. I had to look him up. I don't know any of these people, right? So I had to look him up, and he has like 34 million Instagram followers, and he's the real deal. So he was opening for both these guys. Then 50 Cent backed out because, before we even flew out there, because we didn't know, but he was going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So he's going to come down to South Beach, and Rico's going to open for 50 Cent down in South Beach maybe next month at a different club, right?
Nice.
So, and then
G-Unit.
And then we were at, the whole weekend was VIP at this club, and the club was packed all 3 nights. I mean, belly to belly. And it was really, really interesting. I can't believe that Jarrett was able to pull this whole thing off. Then we went to the Ethica headquarters, which is the clothing manufacturing company. Oh my God. I felt like it was a mini Apple complex. You know how at Apple, they like have all these recreational activities and stuff for the employees to do when they're not working. This place was like employee Disney World. They had pool tables and ping pong tables and gaming machines, and there was a lot of weed in the air. And
it is California.
They had 180. They had a half court basketball court. Everything's in house at Ethica. They don't outsource anything, so all the marketing, all the manufacturing, everything is done on campus, if you will. They have 180 employees. We walked out with tens of thousands of dollars of merchandise to give to Jared's sports athletes, and
With
then to give
permission
out
or not without
merchandise to the
permission?
club. Sorry, what?
You said you walked out with it. Did you have permission to do that?
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh my God, the bodyguards there were tons of bodyguards at this complex. It was pretty wild. Everybody was super cool. It was so professionally run, that Ethica place. So because 50 Cent didn't show up, everybody got like booty bags or looty bags or whatever you call them, merchandise bags. So I got 50 Cent's bag because he didn't show up. So I've got 50 Cent's Ethica cap, baseball cap. So 50, if you want it, give me a call. I'll hit you up. I'll give you the cap.
He might just send some guys over to pick it up, Jim.
Yeah, give me my cap, dude.
Yeah, some guys just knock at your door. They're like, "Hey, we heard what you said."
Yeah, so it was very interesting, and it's really interesting to see how all that stuff happens behind the scenes and everything. I wouldn't want to be Jarrett for a million years, working nonstop the whole time, but did do excellent. And then our film crew, in-house creations, the guys that help produce this show and do a lot of videos for our YouTube channel, Florida Talk Real Estate LLC.
On YouTube, that's right.
They came out to shoot all the stuff. So there's going to be videos floating out for Rico Cash. So if you want to follow Rico, in case you're into that stuff, Instagram is Rico Cash 1008. So check out Rico if you want to. He's going to be blowing up because he's getting connected to a lot of people thanks to Jared. So
really cool.
Johnny, do you remember anything about the demographics of the people who listen to this particular show? Are they into Rico Cash, you think?
Some, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
We get to 18. What is it? 18 to
the demographics for Real Radio?
Well, I don't know if you know. How about this show, Florida Talk Real Estate? We got 10 years on the air.
So, real estate and radio, I guess, kind of go in the same vein, but I think real estate's a little bit broader because anybody in a position to buy a home is going to be interested, right? So, yeah, I would say 25, 54 is probably like the demo, right? For like roughly, but yeah, we got everything way above and below listening too. So, yeah, there's some people nodding their head going, Rico Cash, nice, good for Jared.
Wait, where did you say he's out of, Jim?
Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. Okay.
Atlanta right now. Yeah.
And that's a big rap scene for sure. Just Migos alone.
Yeah.
Which are huge right now.
What about Outkast?
That's more my speed. The AT Aliens. Yes.
Yeah. And it was kind of a little crazy because the night we came in Friday night, the night that 50 Cent was supposed to perform but didn't, there was a shooting at another nightclub, a Justin Bieber performance, and Kodak Black got shot, and it was kind of weird.
From Florida, by the way.
Yes, he's a Pompano Beach guy, right? So he's a Pompano Beach
guy.
Great
dude, too. That guy's always doing something amazing for the community. Always.
Yeah, there's like all this community stuff, but he also gets in a lot of scrapes with the law too. So he's good guy, bad guy kind of thing. But yeah, so anyway, there was a shooting involving him and 3 other people. They got shot. I don't think anybody got seriously injured, thank God. But apparently, just small world, there's connections to Rico, not about the shooting, but the people that are surrounded by Kodak are the same people connected to Rico. So it's the whole thing is just a small world stuff. So Jared's expansion is just getting weirder and weirder about the way this all fingers out right now.
I just love that he's got you out there doing it too, Jim. Like
I was just there for support because he was totally overwhelmed. There was so much going on at the time.
Yeah. I was thinking, I saw some of your videos when you post them. I was like, Jim is like maybe slightly out of his element at the club. At the Super Bowl club with the big name performers, supposed to show up. Maybe that's all it takes, Jimmy. You just have to 50 is supposed to be here tonight.
There was one event out there where it wasn't clear if the person was going to show up or not. And the club actually said, we'll give you X amount of dollars if you just allow us to put you on the flyer.
Okay.
And if you don't show up, you still get to keep the money. But if you come, we'll give you extra money.
That's dirty.
Yeah, I know. That's the nightclub business, man.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
people are
Johnny used
paying
to do a
all
ton
that
of
money.
appearances. I said Johnny used to do a ton of appearances. Johnny, you were not a big enough celebrity or where you could just not show up. Like you're on the name, but not show up. You weren't that big.
So I would go behind all the flyers with a Sharpie, and it would say Johnny C, and I'd put ASH at the end. So people are like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Johnny Cash is there."
Nice.
That's pretty
coming.
cool. I like that. So let me see. Hold on here 1 second.
Let me let everybody know you got entry points. As always, we give you 2 hours of infotainment every single Saturday, Florida Talk Real Estate. And we thank you for joining us. Facebook, nice to see you this morning. YouTube, by the way, you're at a source right there for a ton of information for Florida Talk Real Estate. Videos like Jim with Rico Cash in LA for a Super Bowl party coming up soon. Maybe not specifically to that, but that kind of stuff will be popping up shortly. Very informative stuff about the team, some of the listings, et cetera, et cetera. The process, there's a ton to consume. Florida Talk Real Estate LLC on YouTube. And, the radio, 92.1, 101.7, your free download, your iHeartRadio app. Ton of ways to be a part of the show. You can pick up your phone, call 877-927-6969. Jimothy, our producer, will line you up. We'll get you right on the air with your questions, comments, concerns, even if you want to get involved in a Rico Cash conversation. 877-927-6969. If you're not comfortable on air, totally understand. I'm not either. Go to floridatalkrealestate.com. You have access to the team right there. Your one-stop real estate shop. You'll find the hotline as well. That's 888-973-7828. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's answered by a live body. You're going to be connected to the best of the best. The whole team, your one-stop real estate shop. It's floridatalkrealestate.com.
So thank you, Johnny. And I'd like to talk a little bit about like what's happening in the real estate market and the economy, because there's just so many changes. Every single week it seems like we're going through all these lot of little bits of news that seems to be changing on every level. So one of the things that happened, because we haven't had a chance to talk about this, is the January jobs report came out when we were off air. And the jobs report came in surprisingly high, about almost 500,000 jobs created. They were thinking like 150 is what they were thinking. So it was like 3 times the amount they expected. So that was very surprising. But the unemployment rate went up a little bit, even though we created $450,000, $500,000 jobs, because there's more people coming back into employment. So a lot of the people that COVID just pulled out, remember, Johnny, we talked about that phantom unemployment rate. Well, it seems like some of those people are starting to come back now. So the unemployment rate went up a little bit, but that wasn't necessarily considered a bad sign. It was actually considered maybe a healthy sign that people were getting back into the job market. So that part's good, right? But then the national economists on Wall Street took a hit on the stock market because they were complaining that wages were going up too high. And I just think this is hilarious in some ways. It's sad hilarious in that, when we get in trouble on a national crisis, economy crisis, we always seem to be bailing out like the big companies, right, to keep everybody employed. And now that the employees have a little bit upper hand on the companies, where they're starting to ask for more wages and stuff like that, and it's going up a little bit, because we had wage stagnation for like 10 years, right? Under like 2 administrations, we had like no wage increase for 10 years. And now we're starting to get a little bit of wage increase, and people are complaining that, that it's a bad sign and we have to kind of curtail it. So now they're all trying to figure out how to stop the wages from getting, quote, too high. They just started moving up for the first time in 10 years. Yeah, we can't have that.
It's interesting you're kind of bringing this up, because I've kind of dove down this hole in the last couple of nights.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an if-then proposition, but we're getting there, right? So with inflation and a lot of people coming back to work, the millennial Gen Z are the ones they're focusing on, where they're thinking that they're going to start commanding and demanding increases in their salary, or they're walking. Like we've seen, the Great Quit, it's coming back. but there's a lot of the experts are predicting that they're going to be in this power play, those like specific age demographics, to where they're going to have to give them more money, right, in order to maintain the workforce that's kind of being built right now. And then what's going to happen? Well, the costs are going to be passed on to the consumer. So even if the Fed starts to pump the brakes a little bit to fight inflation, inflation is going to be built in through the salary demands, and then we're into a recession. So there's this really weird kind of tug of war that's happening right now. We got to see how it shakes in.
I don't think the employment part, the labor part, is going to cause the recession, though. I think that we're
No,
going to have
it'll be the Fed continue, because so wages go up, the consumers will have to eat more, so it'll be almost a hyperinflation at that point. Even though it's not really inflation that's pushing it, it's greed, it's corporate greed to be pushing it. I mean, we're kind of there anyway, but it'll be exacerbated, and then the Fed will have to push the brakes harder than they want to try to control the inflation, and then that'll push us into the recession.
See, what I think's going to happen is like that could happen. I think this is going to be more of a psychological thing than anything.
Oh, it is.
And I think
It
that
already is.
like right now, I know that some people don't agree with this, but statistically, the statistics that we use to judge the economy and the workforce over the last like 20 years, so whatever those standard statistics we turn to, if you continue to use them, the last year and a half, 2 years has been very, very good, but people don't feel that way. And I get it. I'm out there all the time. People don't feel that way, but
Middle class doesn't feel that way.
right. The middle class doesn't. And the funny part is most of them are fully employed, right? They're paying their bills. They're have money to like do the stuff they want to do. What I mean is if they want to buy or they want to sell, they could, but they might not have to or want to, but they have the ability to do it. You know what I mean? So people are like sitting pretty good there. The foreclosure, like one of the factors for real estate and the national economy in a way, one of the factors is what's happening in the foreclosure and short sale market. And it's non-existent, right? I mean, there's like 1% of the South Florida market is distressed homes right now, right? And a normal market is 1 to 3%. So we're even on the lower end of the normal market. So the thing is, things look very good that way. But what I think is going to happen is once these interest rates go up, I don't think the national economists are really going to understand how that's going to affect consumers just in general, because people are already having affordability issues with these super low interest rates, for example, in housing. And with these interest rates going up, if the national economists are right and that prices aren't going to go down when the interest rates go up, if they're right, that's going to push so many people out from not being able to buy a home. And I think that psychologically for those people, then that's going to make them probably not want to get a car, big ticket prices, because they feel like they can't afford the home when the normal cycle is for them to get a home. You know what I mean? And things like that. So I think the psychological thing, because we went through this, in 2018, when the interest rates went up a point and a half in 6 weeks, and we hit almost 5%. It was 4.94 in November 2018, from a little under 3.5 to 4.94 in 6 weeks. That's the only 12-month period where the real estate market was kind of flat. We actually saw some price decreasing during that time. The property appraiser was actually at that time assessing property values at a lower price, not increasing the prices during that cycle, right? So I don't know how that's not going to happen this time. They're saying it won't happen. So we'll just have to kind of watch it and see how it goes. Johnny, I didn't realize it's only 9:24. My eyesight's bad. I thought it was 9:34. So we're gonna do the hard break at 9:30 for sure. But so anyway, that's kind of interesting as far as the economy. I really don't know how it's all going to turn out, but we're going to talk on the flip side. We're going to be talking about the interest rates. We're seeing a very new phenomenon, and when I say new, we haven't seen this in a while, Mike. Probably the last 3 years, we haven't seen a cycle that it looks like we're in the middle of right now, or starting the beginning of, which is interest rates going up, and we don't know how high they're going to go up or how it's going to, how it's going to happen. So,
Where kind of where the limit is.
Yeah, well, and as this is happening too, so you talked about, Jim, the psychological aspect for a lot of people that maybe should be buying, and the psychological is keeping them from doing that. Um, what Here's a real psychological aspect that should be creeping into your mind. It seems like anybody who isn't in some kind of rent control situation, or a mortgage, that's the epitome of rent control, right? Um, I've talked to 4 people in the last 2 weeks that I know who are renting, who, when their lease is up soon, their rent's going up. Listen to this, like, considerably. I know
Wow.
somebody who's paying $2,700 a month. Their rent's going to now be $3,500 a month. Not bad, right? I know another one that's at $2,200. It's going to be going to $3,400.
mhm.
When you're budgeted, right, and you're strapped, for most people, don't have the biggest margin for error when it comes to their income. If you do, that's great. But a lot of people have this, they find their groove, they find their spot, they live within their means, and they're happy with it. Your rent goes up $1,200. You can't find that money. Even if you get another job, it can be tough at times. So that's a real reality for so many people. If you think like, man, this is going to be my future, you got to go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, your one-stop real estate shop. Talk to the pros. Sit with Mike. Find out your position. Talk to Jim. See what your path could be to avoid this. Really, I mean, that's a dilemma, a big time dilemma in life. You got to find $1,200 that you don't have to just put a roof over your family's head.
Johnny, it's so true what you're talking about. And you use the word rent control, right? And I'm using that word now. I use it a lot. There's a person that's watching on Facebook right now, Tom, right? So with Tom's family, he has a couple that's on a fixed income, right? A family, his parents, and they needed to move down here. So we were trying to find them a rental. When we were trying to find the rental for the pricing and everything, it was so difficult. And they're on a fixed income. So what was going to happen next year?
Right.
And the year after, right? So even though they weren't really prepared for this, we were telling them that you really should think of buying. I know that, it's almost not logical for what they needed to do.
Right.
I said, but this is all about rent control. If your rent goes up, $300, $500 a month more, just that amount for them, they're on fixed income. I go, can you afford that? No way. I go, you got to lock in a mortgage, and you're going to get equity in the house over time, right? So there'll be benefits to you. And so that's what they're in the process of doing right now. And the only reason why they're buying right now is for rent control. But a rent control move in this market, and I know we only got a couple minutes, Johnny, but the rent control in this market by buying a house, there's so many good plays about that right now. So you might not. So let's say that you can't afford to buy the house you really want to buy, right? And let's say it'll be a couple years before you can save the money for that. My strong recommendation is, as long as you can afford it, and you're not planning on selling it in the next couple years to buy the new home, I would try to get something in right now, or at least seriously consider it. Not everybody's situation is the same, but here are the benefits of doing that. Number one, values look like they're going to continue to increase. Are they going to increase at this crazy rate? I hope not, because this is crazy town. But we're not expecting it right now to see any backward slide. And the only way we're going to see backward slide, there's only one indicator that's going to cause a backward slide right now, and that's unemployment. If we start to see people losing their jobs, that's when people stop making the payments on the house. And when that happens, that's when we're going to have more inventory, because we're going to have less buyers and more inventory, and then the prices are going to go down. But that's a long cycle. That will take 6 months, a year, 18 months for that to materialize, even when it starts materializing. So it isn't going to be an overnight thing.
Right.
If it starts.
Yeah.
Right. If it even starts. I don't think it will. That's your bad day. Your normal day is that you're going to get normal appreciation while you're holding on to the house.
Right.
Number two, you're going to be getting the rent control. Number three, is that if you buy right, and this is your plan to not buy your forever house right now, control your rent, what you can do is you can look for a property that would be a great rental when you decide to get your next home, right? So you have a great rental property to put in your portfolio while you're getting your real home the next time, right? So there's all these benefits of doing it. And the one thing is right now, it's great to be a landlord. If you're thinking about becoming a landlord, either an Airbnb or a regular landlord, you got to give us a call because we'd love to work with you and help you find your next rental property or maybe your first rental property. But this is a great time to be a landlord. And what we're telling all the athletes of Player Performance First with Jerry Parrott's group, if you want to start investing in stuff, one of the things that's best to invest in right now is rental properties. It's a great market right now for that. It's hard to find them, but when you get one, you're going to hit a home run.
Absolutely. So we still got a lot of time left for you on a Saturday, a ton of information coming at you and some entertainment as well. That's why we call it 2 hours of infotainment every single Saturday. If we kind of struck a nerve, remember, go to floridatalkrealestate.com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. Yes, Jimmy D?
Yeah, I just wanted to say before we take the break right now, Jimmy V was just saying that don't forget about the tax advantages of home ownership, which is just a given, right? So you also have these great tax benefits of when you're living in the house, about interest rates and everything else. So, there's just so many benefits of that. So
that's Jimmy V on Facebook. That's Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. He's joining us right now. Everybody joining us on a Saturday morning. Thank you very much for being with us. And a good example of communicating with the team. You don't want to go on the air, 877-927-6969. Maybe you write a little note there on Facebook, Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook, like Jimmy V did. And it's a good point. Yeah, tax advantages for sure for home ownership. We still got a lot of time. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Florida Talk Real Estate is .com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. Reach the whole team at floridatalkrealestate.com. We're going to be back 4 minutes from now. 1, 2, 3. Count them up. 4 minutes. We'll be back at it with lots more information and your phone calls if you pick up your phone and dial. See you in 4 minutes. Florida Talk Real Estate right here on Real Radio.
What's a real radio?
and helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DiPaola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
There it is, 877-927-6969. You make that call, we'll take that call. We'll take you until 11, pass the baton to the locker room. That's right, we give you 2 hours of infotainment every single Saturday, and you are welcome to be a part of the show with your questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate, or even Rico Cash, Super Bowl party related stuff. We can handle that too. Johnny C, that's me. Say good morning to my guy, the mortgage guy. It's my friend, your friend, Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Hello, Michael.
Well, good morning, Johnny.
Good morning, sir. Nice to see you as always.
Yeah.
And you're like, why is Johnny in Jim's usual spot? That's because I'm in Jim's usual spot. Jim is like doing a staycation escape with Keller Williams. I don't know if it's quite a staycation, but hopefully he's having a little bit of fun, doing a lot of work as always. That's my guy, Jim DiPaola with Keller Williams Innovations. Almost said preferred partners. It would have been the first time in a long time. Keller Williams Innovations. He runs the Florida Home Pros team. Jimmy D up there in Orlando. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. I would have stepped on you if I wasn't muted. I would have stepped on you, Johnny. So that was a good thing. I'm doing well. Yes, I am in Orlando. I'm at the Keller Williams National Convention. I'm not exactly sure how many agents showed up for this, but check this out. When I started 10 years ago with Keller Williams, or 9 years ago with Keller Williams, we were the number 2 brokerage in the country. RE/MAX was number 1 for units sold and the amount of units sold, the amount of sales, like the total amount of sales.
Volume.
Volume, units sold, and agent count. Now, Keller Williams was number 2. Now, 9 years later, Keller Williams is the number 1 brokerage in the world because I think we're in 44 countries right now, including China. I wonder what selling real estate in China is like. Not very good right now. Evergrande, right? When I started, I think there were about 120,000 Keller Williams agents across the country. Now there's 200,000 of us. And I'm probably in about the top 5% for production in the country, somewhere around there. And the reason why I'm out here for the national convention, the national convention hasn't been held for 2 years because of COVID. But the last time it was done, which was 2019, they had 18,000 agents showed up. So we probably have somewhere between 10 and 20,000 agents here at the convention right now.
Cool.
Wow.
So one of the reasons why I'm here is that I was accepted into the sports and entertainment division for Keller Williams National. So there's about 800 of us across the country that specialize in helping athletes and entertainers with all their real estate needs and the services like that. And I'm here for that part of the convention. So it's kind of interesting.
This guy. Look at you.
Yeah.
Jimmy T.
I wonder, Jim, are you missing anything important this morning while you're doing the radio show? Are they
Actually,
running
I
like
don't.
seminars?
I know. Actually, I don't know because I was supposed to leave. The convention started yesterday, and I was supposed to leave at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't leave until 3:30 in the afternoon. So I literally drove to town and then went to my first. It was a dinner party meeting, but a dinner party meeting as soon as I didn't even get to the hotel. I had to go just straight to the meeting. So
Did you get dinner?
not very good dinner. So,
But it was
yeah,
dinner.
so, and not very good breakfast this morning because we had to do the show prep and see if we can get everything up and running. But anyway, so the thing with Keller Williams, just to get back to Keller Williams because I just want to wrap that part up. One of the things that's great about Keller Williams is the education and everything that it brings to the table, and that's one of the things I take advantage of is all the educational opportunities. And the other thing is that I did switch brokerages. I was at Keller Williams Preferred Partners, but now I'm at Keller Williams Innovations, and that's why Johnny was saying what he was saying earlier. So it's still the Keller Williams family. It's I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback. It's still the Keller Williams family, but it's just a different office.
Right.
Because I am with Keller Williams, I can go to any office, any Keller Williams office, anywhere to meet you for your needs. So I cover everything. Our team, the Florida Home Pros, with Keller Williams Innovations, covers everything from basically Vero Beach south down to Miami. So if you have needs for that, we're going to service you personally with all of that. But we can help you anywhere in the country. We help. Last year, we helped people buy and sell in Georgia and North Carolina and Texas. And I think there was a New Jersey. So we can help you anywhere in the country, but locally it's Vero Beach to Miami. That's where we live and play, and we can help you out at any time. So that's what I'm doing up here at the Keller Williams thing. Learning a lot of stuff and meeting hopefully people that can help my customers do better in their needs.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. FloridaTalkRealEstateIs.com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. Know it, love it, use it, share it. You can change people's lives. You really can by putting them with people that are not only good at what they do, they're great at what they do. They care about your outcome. Ultimately, that is what it's about, working with great people that are trying to get you in the position you're trying to get there. It's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. I use it. I know it. I share it. And you should too. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
A couple of things. I wanted to talk about a couple of properties that are either on the market or have, this is an unusual one, an open house for somebody that I actually don't have the listing for. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I wanted to talk about our Fort Pierce condo unit, 1176 Bayshore Drive in the Colonnades in Fort Pierce. We just had a price adjustment to $225,000. This is a 2-2 with about a little over 1,000 square feet under air. And it's got a really nice patio, and you have peekaboo views of the river right in your backyard. And you walk right across the street, not a busy street because it's part of the community. And there's this nice, really nice dock. I was out there, Johnny, when I was waiting for a customer to show the property, and just hanging out on that dock and hearing the water or watching the birds go by and everything. Pretty darn cool.
You're talking about the little sitting dock, like kind of directly across the street, or did you
The
walk
one
down to one of the
direct-
fishing docks?
No, I did the sitting dock, but I know that there's two other docks, I think, for
Several.
to go fishing. And I know you've been fishing over there.
So many times.
Yeah. And everybody talks about the fishing, and it's a really nice, active adult community. So, and it's very affordable. And the house has been nicely updated over time. It has a newer kitchen, and one of the things that's really nice about this unit compared to the other units in the colonnade, it has the open floor plan. So they broke out the walls for the kitchen, so it's open up to the living room and the dining room, and you have a direct view from the kitchen directly into your porch where you can see the peekaboo views of the river. And one of the things I love about that particular area is all the cool restaurants right around it. So if you're looking for something, and it's rentable after It's immediately rentable, but you have to get approval from the condo association for your tenant. And I think it's immediately rentable, and you can do it 3 times a year. So you can't use it like as an Airbnb, but you can rent it out if you're looking for a rental property, or you want to use it like a vacation home and rent it out for a little bit of time. This is a really affordable way to do that, and a really great area, very close to the water.
Jim, do any of the 55 plus communities allow that short-term rental style, at least within their laws? I don't know how
Yeah,
closely they monitor it.
I haven't found one yet that a 55 and over would allow Airbnb. Like you're talking like the daily rentals, right? Like the vacation
Yeah.
rental by owner stuff.
Yeah,
I haven't
exactly.
seen anybody that allows that yet. But you know where it's very common is Orlando here. They build whole communities here based on the Airbnb concept. So if you're interested in buying an investment property that you want to use like almost like a timeshare, you can do that. There's a couple of them down in Fort Lauderdale I know about too, and one in the town of Palm Beach. So if you're looking for that kind of thing where you want to have like a hotel own, like a hotel room, basically, is what you're doing. Some of them are a little larger than a hotel room, but some of them aren't, and you can make a lot of money on these. A lot of the Airbnbs, I'm talking a lot of Airbnb friends, and most of their units are pulling in between $30,000 and $45,000 a year in gross income.
Nice.
Right? So if you're interested in finding about that kind of stuff, give us a call.
FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, or you can call 888-973-7828. That's the hotline. That's answered by a live body 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You'll find the hotline there at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Now, just get back to 1176 Bayshore in the Colonnades. If you want to find out more about it, go to our Facebook page. There's a ton of stuff out there on it. And also on our YouTube channel, we did a video about it. So you can go to our YouTube channel, Florida Talk Real Estate. Or if you just want the full listing, just reach out to us. Just call us, go to our website, either call us, email us, or text us, and we'll send you the full information on the listing. Now I want to roll into another property. I met a for sale by owner right before I left last week, and she has a house that's very interesting. We're probably going to do a video on this neighborhood, so I wanted to talk about this because she's doing an open house today for her property in Boca Raton. So I want to say hello to Judith. The address for the property is 1425 Northeast 4th Court in Boca Raton. That's 1425 Northeast 4th Court in Boca Raton. Now, this is not a gated community or anything. This community is really interesting. The reason why I want to do a video on this neighborhood, it's an older neighborhood that has like 1950s to 1970 homes on it, but it's within walking distance of Meisner Park, and you're like a block off the Intercoastal. So the properties on the Intercoastal, they're selling for like 15 million and above. Okay, 10 million and above, but a lot like 15 million above. Okay, but the interior lots, what's happening is because they're in 3 AAA school systems, right? Middle school, high school, elementary school, all A schools, right by Meisner, very close to the water. What people are doing, they're going in there and buying these older houses, and instead of fixing them up, they're just tearing them down and then putting in a new home. So what we're seeing in that neighborhood is that people are buying houses between 800,000 and 2 million, tear the house completely down, and then they're building brand new homes on there for 2.8 million to almost 5 million. So that neighborhood is transferring from an $800,000 neighborhood to a $5 million neighborhood. This is all happening during COVID. There's other pockets like that happening. That's happening in West Palm. There's a neighborhood called Soso, south of Southern, right? They call it Soso.
Well, it's only going to be so-so until they tear those things down.
I know, and what I know, right? And
You got to come up with a better name.
but getting back to this, getting back to 1425 Northeast Fourth Court, this house has a lot of opportunities. So right now, the owner is doing an open house today from 12 to 4, and tomorrow from 12 to 4. So you can drive by and go talk to the owner, Judith. She's asking $8,000 a month to rent the house out. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a pool. When we say 4-bedroom, it's because it's a split ranch, and the 4th bedroom is being used right now as more like a den study, but it's big, so it could be actually a second master bedroom. So she's looking for a renter right now at $8,000 a month, but she also has it kind of on the market. So if you're interested in finding out more about the property, to either buy the house as the unit can be used as a tear down. This could be a tear down property, or you can go in there and fix it up because the bones of the house are very good. It's CBS construction. The roof is newer, the AC is newer, but the house inside, in order to keep up with the Joneses in the neighborhood for expectations, you're going
Don't
to
you
want
mean
to do some significant updating.
Don't you mean the Jonases?
What did I say? The Jones? I said the Joneses, right?
That's a Super Bowl commercial reference.
Yeah, the Super Bowl commercial.
Oh, I missed it. It was too
Well-
loud in the club. Sorry.
Oh, well, the punchline is Nick Jonas is the 4th Jones to roll up.
Oh,
And he's like,
that's
it's
funny.
keeping up with the Jonases now.
Oh, there you go. Keep it up
Yeah.
with the Joneses. I didn't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it.
Tommy Lee Jones at the end says, keep up, whoever you are, or something like that.
Right.
That's funny. So this house, you could, if you didn't want to do the tear down and you bought the house, the other opportunity here is you could buy the house, and let's just say you do the full renovation on the inside. If you buy it for what the owner's asking for, which I think is like 1.7, it's for sale by owner, so I don't hold me to prices because the price has changed since I've talked to them. But if it's 1.7 and you put the money into the house, you'll probably be in an effectively brand new home. And this is about a 2,100 square foot home, 4-bedroom, 3-bath with the pool. So you'd be in effectively a brand new home in an excellent neighborhood where your neighbors houses are between $2 million and $5 million, and you'd be in there for about $2 million. So there would be a really good play there if you wanted just to buy it and fix it up. So this house has a lot of opportunities. So 1425 Northeast 4th Court in Boca Raton. Stop by, say hello to Judith. If you do, say Jim sent me from Florida Talk Real Estate. Please do that. Be cool about that. And also, if you want to find out more information about the property, contact me directly and I'll get you all the information you want, whether you're thinking about renting it or if you're thinking about buying it. Now, I understand that for the open house, she used another realtor to put it out for the rental. So the rental is listed with another realtor. I don't have that information right now, but if you need that, I can get you that too.
Excellent. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. As we always say, your one-stop real estate shop and access point for guys like Jim DiPaola or Mike Rath, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. You have plenty of opportunity to be a part of the show. You can pick up your phone if you got questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate, something we're talking about. You can dial 877-927-6969. Jimothy, our producer extraordinaire, he'll line you up. We'll get you on the air. If you're not comfortable, always remember FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Find Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook, on YouTube. There's a lot of ways to get in touch with this team. I think we've even responded to a smoke signal or two over the years, but FloridaTalkRealEstate.com is the best way. Call the hotline, 888-973-7828.
Thank you, Johnny. Hey, just want to talk about, in the super hot market right now, Mike, and Mike, maybe you had problems with this recently, maybe you didn't. But what I noticed is, and this is because a lot of people from the north, right? This is what I've noticed. People from the north, I'm talking about New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, up there, when they come down and they make offers down here, a lot of them, because it's so competitive, they're turning in multiple offers at one time, right? And they don't really they're like trying to see which one they can get, right? So they turn in multiple offers at one time. And then if they get more than one, they're going to back out of something when it gets accepted, right? And then on the other thing that they do is that they offer like really crazy terms. Like maybe it's all cash. You've seen this on like $1 million lists and stuff. All cash, no inspection, right?
Yep.
So I want to talk about this inspection part, the no inspection part, right? Sellers do not let, usually do not let your buyer do no inspection when you're selling the house. It's a very big risk to you as the seller. The sellers think, hey, this is a great opportunity. I'm selling the house and there's no inspection. Great, right? But the Miami Herald had an article, and I've never been a proponent of that. I feel the exact opposite, right? But we just had a case where we were selling a house. You know, Johnny, you know this guy really well, Darnell, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So we put his house, we had to sell his house. It was basically like an estate situation, very attached emotionally to it. His father lived there many, many years. Very big decisions in his life on how he was going to handle this property. So, but he eventually ended up decided to sell it. But the house was 1999 and it was 1999 everything. And Darnell hadn't really ever lived there. So he didn't know what was wrong, but there was a lot of deferred maintenance. The spa and the backyard was like green and the water wasn't full. And there were all these problems with it. So what we did is we were trying to figure out how to maximize the money with the house that needed significant repairs. So what we did is we went out and got our own inspection, just like if we were a buyer, and had an inspection and a roof certification to figure out how old the roof was and what was the useful life on the roof, and basically did the full inspection on the house. Then what we did is when we put the house on the market, we told people, this is what we know is wrong with the house. That's why we priced it the way we priced it. You can go ahead and inspect the property if you want, but if there's anything on the report that's in our report, we're not negotiating it. If you find something else that's serious that we didn't find out about or something, well, then we're going to be reasonable. But we're telling you everything that's wrong with the house right now through a professional inspection. And it worked perfect. And I do this all the time. And it worked perfect, right? So then the people that bought the house and ended up buying the house, they didn't do an inspection, right? But the seller disclosed everything they knew because they paid for a professional inspection. So even if the buyers came back and said, hey, you didn't tell me about something, we told them everything, even though the buyers did an inspection. But the Miami Herald has an article where they were talking about when the buyer waives the inspection of the home, the seller could still be liable if they didn't disclose what's wrong with the house. So in this example, when the buyers bought the house without an inspection, they were starting to peel the wallpaper off the walls. And then they found all these structural cracks in the walls. It was a very old house, like plaster walls. And they found structural damage to the house, serious structural damage. And they felt like the sellers covered it up with wallpaper, right? Because there was no inspection, the sellers under the contract for the as-is contract with right to inspect, the as-is contract, even the as-is contract says multiple, I think 2 times in the contract, that seller must disclose any facts that may materially affect the value of the property that might not be readily observable.
But they also have to be aware of it, right? That's
true. That's true. So, and that's true, but it opens up you to liability though, right? So even if you didn't know, if the buyer's really mad and they're emotional about it, they're still going to sue you.
Yeah, you're going to be in for a fight, right?
I was going to say there's
like,
probably some professional buyers out there with good lawyers who are looking for that type of thing. Like they buy it, no inspection contingency, and we'll find out afterwards and we'll sue.
Yep. So the way I look at that is for $500, right? Because the average inspection is $500. All that risk for $500, right? So my bottom line is do the inspection. if your person's offering no inspection, you should do something. My opinion is write some kind of addendum saying that you're recommending they do an inspection and they're choosing not to, and you don't know anything that's wrong with the property. Something, right? Just to say, hey, I get, above and beyond. But the bottom line is you should probably allow them to do the inspection. And if you got big problems with the house, it's much better to do what we did, which is be proactive. Find out what's wrong with the house. So that way you don't get surprised on the back end. People either make one or two mistakes on this. I'll wrap up this half hour on this, right? So they make one or two mistakes on this. Number one, they try to ignore the problems until they actually get to the inspection part. Then it becomes a problem and they don't have any answers to fix the problem, and it becomes very stressful. They're already a week and a half into the contract. The people come back and say the AC isn't working and there's leaks here and there's an electrical problem here. And the next thing you know, you got to call electrician and AC guys and plumbers so you don't get ripped off on prices. Or so that first way that's the emergency way, where you're just being reactive to problems that you know are there, but you're trying to ignore them in advance, right? And the other big mistake that people do is they don't take into consideration when they're selling the house and they're saying it's as is, that they don't realize that the buyer still has a right to do the inspection. So even though they keep saying it's as is, the buyer's like, yeah, but I'm going to do the inspection. And if I see a problem, I'm going to bring it up. And a lot of sellers, they have to be prepared for that. They got to be in their mind. They have to be prepared to deal with it. They can't have a set in stone. Well, it's as is. I don't care. Unless you do like what we do. Because, we're saying, hey, here's what's wrong with the property. If you don't like our price based on what we're offering you, don't turn in the offer.
Yeah, and you're priced, you're priced good because you know the problems. You've figured out what the cost will be to fix any issue and price it accordingly. And that's that's one of the advantages about going with people that are not only good at what they do, but great at what they do, because they're putting yourself in a position, they're putting you in a position to get the most out of your transaction, whether you're a seller, a buyer, you're dealing with a distressed property. Look, this is a great team for buying and selling. Absolutely, hands down. Nobody else I would ever recommend. But if you're dealing with a distressed aspect, there's a lot of tools in this tool belt with Florida Talk Real Estate. We call it the one-stop real estate shop for a reason. When we first got this show going, Jim could tell you example after example after example, from the foreclosures, the loan modifications, the short sales. There was a lot of people and a lot of hurt in our area utilizing the tools of this team. But man, you want to get yourself in a high-end home. You want to sell a high-end home. There's nobody else to turn to. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Condo market. You want to, you name it. I'm actually training with a guy right now this week who served in the Marines, and he got his VA loan through Mike Rauch and has nothing but the highest respect for Mike Rauch. And Jim bought and sold his home, in Stewart, and bought a nice home up in Port St. Lucie. Big fan of the team. Why? Because, well, he found a resource that is remarkable, and he shares it with everybody he knows because he wants the same outcomes for them. That's why we tell you all the time, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. Your one-stop real estate shop. I'll get it out eventually. I can read it. It's right here in front of me. Yeah, it's real simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's all you got to do is pick up the phone, talk to the pros, figure out your situation. If you're not ready to go now, they'll give you the path to make sure you can get the outcome you're looking for. Trust your boy. Wouldn't steer you wrong ever. I'm telling you right now. Look in my eyes. I'm telling you the truth. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We do a little break. We come back. Jim, what are we talking about?
Okay, on the flip side, we're going to talk about a big mistake a for sale by owner made when they were trying to sell their house for sale by owner. Big mistake. How to get Crasker Law involved and the whole thing.
And we're going to be talking interest rates sometime today, too.
And then we're going to, right after that, we're going to talk about interest rates, which is really big news.
I'm going to be slipping into buyer mode here soon, so I'm very interested in this conversation as well. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Y'all know it, love it, use it, share it. We do a 4-minute break. We're back at it. You got time to make your phone call. If you got questions, comments, you want to wait till the conversation gets going, go ahead and do that. You want to dial right now? You can do that too. 877-927-6969. Say hi to Jimothy. Good morning. He'll get you on hold. We'll get you on the air. Back 4 minutes from now. Thanks for being with us on a Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate right here on Real Radio.
Letting you in on what girls talk about when the boys
ML. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because FloridaTalkRealEstate.com has you covered. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
This is WZZR FM, West Palm Beach, Real Radio 92.1, powered by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Been in an accident? Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hello? Timothy, I don't think can you hear us?
Well, we'd hear should be a rejoiner. Probably going. What about now?
We lost our Facebook feed, but I don't think that affects this.
Here it is.
Okay, there you go.
Computer issues.
This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DiPaola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yep, that's it. Toll-free number. You can be a part of the show. We got another hour for you on this Saturday. We give you 2 hours of infotainment every Saturday, 9 until 11. Florida Talk Real Estate is also a .com, your one-stop real estate shop. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. But if you want to be a part of the show, pick up your phone, dial it up, 877-927-6969. Johnny C, that's me. I got Mike Rauch with us on this Saturday, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Hello, Michael.
In the house. Good morning, Johnny. Good morning, South Florida.
Nice to see you. And Jimmy D is with us as always. It's Jim DiPaola with Keller Williams Innovations. I always tell you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. That's the Florida Home Pros, y'all. Jimmy D, how you be?
Hey, Johnny. Hey, Mike. Good morning. Hey, do me a favor, people on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, can you just send me a text or a message on the post to say that you can hear us, because we lost the signal and we came back on. So if anybody's on Facebook, please let me know. Okay. So I'll tell you what, instead of talking about the for sale by owner first, we're going to talk about the interest rates because it is such big news. Okay. So let me just kind of set the foundation, and then Mike, I'm going to ask you what you feel like is going on.
Okay.
You're seen as a guy down in the trenches doing this every day, because interest rates are news, right? It's actually news again. So last week, I'm losing everything now, of course. Okay, hold on here, guys. Sorry about this. Okay, so last week we were at hold on here. I'm sorry.
I got him up here, Jimmy. Last week, last Thursday, 3.69. That's the 30-year average rate that Freddie reports, kind of like an average of all lending that happened in the week, Thursday to Thursday.
Yeah, and just all right. So the week before that, February 10th, we were at 3.55. Then we went up to 3.69. So the 3.69 to 3.55, that's a variation. It can go up that much, down that much, right, Mike? Isn't that kind of true? Like pretty quickly, right? That isn't a lot. Like,
I mean, you'll see that kind of movement in a day.
Right, exactly.
Up or down. So remember, this is a week over week kind of.
Right. This is week over week, and it changes hour by hour. But then this Thursday, so on the 10th, we were at 3.55. Then we went up on to the 3rd, we were on the 3.55. The 10th, we were on 3.69. Now this week, we were at 3.92. We're almost at 4% already, right? So, we went up almost a half point, 0.4. Okay, let's not exaggerate. We went up 0.4 in
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, almost a half a point in 2 weeks. That's not the fastest, because in 2018 we went up 1.5 points in 6 weeks. But you got to remember that the economists at the beginning of the year, when they said, "Oh, we're going to be raising the reserve rate, the Fed Reserve's going to start raising the interest rates," but they were also saying that interest rates would be, by the end of this year, somewhere between 3.7 and 4.4.
Well, you did say it's not the fastest, but they are almost on pace to match that, right? 6 weeks, 1.5 points, 2 weeks, almost a half a point. Like we're
you're exactly, Johnny. So I really think that this is the psychological thing that we were talking about. Okay. John, thank you. John said signal's okay. So thank you for that, John.
I think I'm looking at it, Jim, here now, and I do think it probably is the fastest full point increase, right? Because I'm looking here, end of December, we were at 3.05, and now we're at 3.92. So almost a full point in How many weeks is that? 8 weeks?
Yeah. We went 1.5 in 6 weeks in 2018.
Ah, okay.
So, it's still, this is the second time that things have gone up this fast. So, and we're at the beginning of it. We're looking back at 2018 and we know what happened through 2018 to 2019. We already knew. We don't know where we are right now. We just know we're in that upward curve. When you look at the Freddie Mac chart, it is very surprising. It kind of looks like a crypto chart.
When you say curve, so we're in a upward curve for sure, but the Fed is behind the curve on getting the rates up. So, which is why you maybe see incrementally a little quicker than they otherwise maybe would have had they started the process getting out of the quantitative easing that we've been in for so long. Like we got to do this, but they're having to escalate it a little quickly.
And they're trying to cool the economy down.
Inflation control.
Right. They're trying to control. So what they have to do is they have to smother it like a fire. So when you smother it, you have to smother a lot of stuff you don't want to smother. So what's going to happen is those interest rates have to get high enough that the demand gets cooled down because people can't afford to buy this stuff, so that we have a little less demand, so that we can get prices to get under control, and then we kind of build again. Then we're going to build again. That's kind of the idea. But
do you see the logic in it, though? Do either one of you see the logic? I don't. I'm not an economist. I don't even pretend to be one on the radio. But normally you can see like the logic in the plan. I don't see the logic in this attempt. I know we need to do it, but I don't see the connection with the inflation.
What they're afraid about is stagflation, and I look like that's a really good Swami thing, because I've been talking about stagflation since 2018, asking about stagflation,
which requires high unemployment.
No, it doesn't necessarily be high unemployment. What it is, it's low. Well, it's higher unemployment, but also low productivity. So it isn't just the unemployment, it's that we're not producing as much stuff, but it's also high prices. Because normally when you're not producing as much and everything, so you have really high prices, you have people that can't afford this stuff. So they're not producing as much of it, which kind of creates a vicious cycle. So you don't need to hire as many people. So it's harder to get a job. The jobs you're going to get are lower pay. We're not really producing at our capacity or even close, right? And that's kind of stagflation. So what they're trying to do is they don't want to get into stagflation. We went in that malaise for a bunch of years. So the way they fixed it was making everything so expensive by raising the interest rates that everything kind of petered out, and then they could rebuild. So that's what the concept is. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to work or not work, because they only did it one time in the history of the United States, and it worked, but it was very painful. We went through a lot of employment issues and people losing houses. Foreclosure rates were high at that point in that period. And buying a house was 16, 17%. If you had bad credit, you were paying 21% for a mortgage on a house.
So the part that really makes me go, all right, so I mean, clearly there's always a manipulation, right? That's what the Fed does. They manipulate to control the economy, right? It's a constant manipulation. The manipulation is more psychological for so many people, I think, in this aspect, because there's segments of society that don't feel this inflation as dramatically as others. So the gas pump, your energy costs,
your rent,
grocery bill. Well, see, that's the rent isn't going to be controlled through raising interest rates. It's just not.
No, but it's inflation.
It's going to go higher because you're going to get less people in a position to buy. There's going to be more demand for rentals, so the rent's only going to go higher because of this. So they can maybe control a couple of this is all mental approach, right? A couple of mental aspects in your world, but it's going to grossly affect other aspects. Like, it's not an even exchange. It's a huge swing for if you're doing comparatively. But the psychological aspect, what is it? 10% of most people's income is their grocery bill. Is that roughly the number? Right?
I don't know that. Yeah,
I think that's roughly the number. But so you start seeing that incrementally go up. People psychologically think they're screwed everywhere, but it's
Well,
I think the swings are going to be pretty dramatic. I think rents are going to go through the roof.
Here's some psychological economic effects of this already. So we're at 392. So Mike, and then I want to get to you. So the thing that they mentioned here is that we had the lowest applications. We're like 10% down for mortgage applications. Hold on here one second. Sorry about this. Okay, so we're down 10% on applications compared to the week before, and 12% for the whole year we're down, right?
We should see that number going down every week if rates are going to keep going up, right?
Well, so Mike, let's talk about that. What's happening from your perspective, like in day-to-day stuff? Are you getting calls? Because we're getting a lot of buyers right now we're sending to you.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people getting pre-qualified for purchases. I don't know if that 10% number includes refis or if it's like a year over year, but certainly with rates going up, refinance activity is going down, right? And that's nationwide. That's just happening. So, and that makes sense, right? Like, why refinance? The gap between your rate and the rate you could get now is decreasing, or perhaps is flip flopped, right? You're not in the refinance market anymore. Simple as that. So, but there's also the time of year. I mean, I think Jim, January, February are typically a little bit slower just in general in the real estate market. So I don't know if that's a year over year comparison, but certainly I am qualifying buyers, and those buyers presumably are going to turn into, pre-qualified buyers are going to turn into contracted, right? In contract buyers. So they're out there shopping. It's a tough market. It's been a tough market. I don't know if you keep track of like what the average time is from initial contact or initial pre-approval to getting into contract, Jim, but I bet that's longer now than it's been in a while, as far as like the time it takes to actually find the home and get into contract.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean days on market is longer. It just means that for you, the individual buyer, it's taking longer to get into because it's so competitive.
More offers, more, yeah.
Yeah, listen, this is what I tell people. If there's a house out there that you like, someone else likes it too, right? And they might like it even more than, or they might be able to, to make a stronger offer than you. So I'm not pessimistic on the market. I think it's tough, but there's still houses out there. I do think the end result of the higher rates is going to be an increase in inventory, hopefully, which may mean a flattening or even a slight downtrend in prices. But for the buyer, unfortunately, the interest rate increase, you get with one hand and then they take it away on the other, right? So you might be buying a house at slightly lower price, but you could have a payment that's even higher than it would have been at the higher price, right? This recent spike, Jim, in the rates, part of me feels like the mortgage-backed securities market. Remember that, like, we talk about locking loans, right? So when you lock a loan, you're basically hedging against market movement, right? And so when there was this big spike in a matter of a month, a lot of people were still locked at those lower rates, Johnny. And then when that thing hits the mortgage-backed security market, when you finally close and it gets packaged into a big pool of other loans, there is not as much money as there was predicted to be, right? When those rates were locked. And so that world they might be making up some of that gap, right? They might be kind of like ripping off the Band-Aid. Let's get these rates up here so we can have a little bit fatter margin. And this isn't at my level. Like, this is way beyond my level as far as like the way the markets move. And so maybe then they'd like reach a point, they've recovered some of that money, and then you'll see these rates stabilize. So it could just be a reaction to unpredicted movement in the market, where they got to make up something, and then hopefully they'll kind of get back to this margin or profitability that they require.
So what we noticed is that when we started at the end of last year, as Mike mentioned, we were at like 3.05 or something, right? And then we got up to 3.5 pretty quick. And then we stayed at roughly 3.5, 3.6 for like 3 or 4 weeks, 3 weeks in a row or something. And then we kind of flattened out for a couple of weeks. And I was like, okay, so I don't know if we hit this higher level and that's going to be the plateau for a while. and maybe can even go down a little bit, or is
Yeah.
it going to continue on the upward trend? And it was flat. And now what we've seen is it didn't go down, it went higher again. We had another big jump from the 3536 to the 39. So, next week it could be 387, it could
Right.
be 382, or it could be 4.15. It could do that,
There's
because
also, I was going to say, Jim, there's also a certain level of volume that is required. And again, the mortgage-backed securities world kind of they can control the volume of loans that are being processed, right? Or loans that are closed
Mhm.
by adjusting essentially profit margins on what they're borrowing money at versus what they're lending money at. And so a little bit of this market is controlled by, hey, wait a second, we're not doing enough loans, right? As an industry, like we're just not processing enough loans. So
So
let's kind of curtail the profit margins a little bit so we can get more volume through the pipe.
I didn't.
Yeah. Johnny's shaking his head. He's like, I mean, that's the thing where I hate like this, the understanding what the whys, and we're talking very broad, right? With inflation and stagflation, all this stuff. And I can't even get my head around just my industry and how it's working, right? And so how can I talk about the whole economy and what the Fed is doing? You have to think like these lenders, when you're locking a loan, it's not like somebody who's like a commodities, like, hey, I'm going to buy it here and sell it here, right? Boom, it's done, right? These rate locks, 30-day, 45-day, 60-day locks, they're all a hedge against movement. And when that market moves different than what they predicted or what they anticipated, there's money lost or gained, with that movement. So I got my gut feeling is that it's a correction. It's gonna level off. I don't know how high rates are going. We talk. What's a normal rate, Jim? Like somewhere in the sixes. I remember it was in the sixes. Like when I bought my first home, I think I was at 6.25.
I was at 9.25. I was
Yeah.
at 9.25 for my house in 1994. But normal is 7 to 9% before we got to the bust.
Yeah.
From
I don't think there's many
pre-bust, it
people
was
out there who
7 to 9.
remember that as a normal, right? Like 3 to 5. How about that as a normal, or 4 to 6? Something like that. We've been in a very, very
Traditional,
low.
it's been 3 to 5. I would say over the last 6 years, it's been 3 to 5%.
Yeah.
I know when I was a kid in the 80s, like the numbers were like in the teens.
Yes, that was stagflation. That was during the stagflation period. And Volcker back then, who was the Fed Reserve guy, raising interest rates like crazy to get the inflation under control. That's what that whole thing was about. So we'll see what happens with this. But what does it mean in real life? So
Yeah, I was going to say where there's a little bit of like this is an academic exercise, kind of saying, well, what's happening, and it's cool to talk about. But what happens with boots on the ground, the real world? You're a buyer. Like, what should you be thinking? You're a buyer out there, or you're a seller out there. What should you be thinking?
So the bottom line is, in my opinion, the people that were saying during COVID, at the beginning of COVID, that they said they wanted to wait because they thought the market was going to change, right? And everybody thought that COVID was going to crash the real estate market. They really did. So people said, well, I'm not buying. Well, by 2021, they were probably paying about 15 on average over the region. They were paying like 15% more for the house, and probably about the same interest rates, right? To be fair, right? But they were paying 15% more. So they weren't waiting. While waiting to get the market better, they lost 15% of their value, right? And then 2021, people thought that prices were too high. So I had a lot of buyers saying, I'm going to wait for this is crazy. There's no inventory and the prices are too high. This has got to crash. This is a bubble. There's only one problem with that. When you have low inventory, there's nothing to pop the bubble. There's nothing to pop the bubble right now. There's no bubble popper. We need a bubble popper
There's
for
one
the
bubble
buyers.
popper. It's do the buyers dry up? And we just haven't seen that. There's just still enough buyers out there to snatch up the inventory.
If you have 30 buyers for one home, and later, because the interest rates go up to 5.5%, you have 10 buyers for one home. Does it really make a difference?
That's right.
You only need one buyer.
We need
So-
the one buyer for 3 homes.
What buyers have to realize right now, what the buyers have to realize is that if you want to buy a house, you got to go out there and get your mindset. I'm going out and buying a house. I'm going to get the best deal I can right now, and not worry, and be pretty confident that you're not going to have to worry about like this backward slide as soon as you buy the house. Like, oh my God, like a 2006 buyer. Oh my God, I just paid the top dollar for this house and it's going to take 20 years for it to get right side up. That probably isn't happening. So, because there's nothing to show that could happen. So as long as you can afford the mortgage payment, regardless whether the interest rate is 4.25 or 3.5, if you could afford the mortgage payment and you're buying a house that you want to buy, you should go ahead and do it. I'm serious about that, right?
I agree, Jim. I think even if you put that on the table as a possible outcome, like a slide, a 2006 to 2008 or 2012 style slide, I don't. Well, I mean, if you could predict that with certainty, then of course, right? You wait. But I like my philosophy is, can you get into a payment that you can afford? Is your income stable? Like, are you stable on your income side? Are you stable on your debt side? You're not, no major swings one way or the other. And does this payment that you're getting into, how does it compare to what you're paying now? Are you able to operate your budget, with that a dollar amount as your housing obligation? And so, in my view, if you're ready for that move and it's right for your family, then you can't worry about what the interest rates are. You just don't know where they're going to be. You can't worry about the prices are. You don't know where the prices are going to be.
Best time to buy a house is when you're ready to buy a house. Jim, for your buyers are like, still, even though we're just watching this appreciation through the roof, your buyers are still getting in a position where they're closing and they have equity, right?
Yes, tons of equity, usually extra equity that they're not expecting, which, by the way, Johnny, I haven't had the chance to talk to you, but I was looking at a property in your neighborhood for a listing. So while I was there, I was figuring out what your house is worth. You are going to be super, super, super happy, dude.
Oh, I know. I was just talking about it last night with my mom. I gave her a number that I think, and you're the professional, but I was like, this is what we bought it for. This is what we refied it to. And I'm pretty sure this is what we're going to be ballparking when we sell. It's a stupid number.
I think it's going to be like
double what we bought it for.
Double. Yep. It's going to be double.
And I already refied.
That was over 6 years. That was over.
So we'll close. It'll be 8 years in September.
Oh, 8 years. Okay.
But we already refied.
Yeah.
We refied 3 years ago. So we refied, took cash out, right?
Right.
And I'm probably still going to probably get double from my original purchase price, maybe double what I refied to.
Well, here's what is exciting about
Isn't that stupid, Mike?
Your cash out refi is the way to do it the right way. So this is tips, good homeowner tips, right? So what did Johnny do with the cash out refi? He put it back into the house. So he did all these upgrades in the house over the years. So now when I'm looking at his house and compared to the rest of the houses in the neighborhood, he's so much newer than the other houses that he's going to get top dollar in that neighborhood. So whatever the top dollar is in that neighborhood for his size house, he's going to be getting it because he's done the deferred maintenance upgrades to keep the house in excellent condition. So the next buyer that's kind of go buy the house, they know they have many years of very low home maintenance issues because Johnny did all the big stuff that needed to be done. And that really creates value in today's market.
Sure.
So he's going to be one of the houses that if you like it, there's going to be 10 other people that like it, kind of thing. So he's going to have a huge bidding war.
He's also in a great little, like that neighborhood, that area is pretty ideal for families, right, Johnny? I mean, it's just a great spot for people who are family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for the buyers, look, don't wait. If you're thinking about doing it, as Johnny used the example before, rip the Band-Aid off, if you will, and give us a call. We have a plan. Look, whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're a buyer but you also have to sell, and you're very confused on how that's going to work. How am I going to sell my house and buy my house? It's such a tough market. I'll never find a house. I know I could sell my house for a good price, but what the heck am I going to find? All those are very important questions and very logical things to be concerned about.
Sure.
But instead of just wondering in your mind and having a mindset of what your situation is, you need to open up the computer and talk to the professionals and open up the MLS and find out the real answers. We can get you real answers. We can find out what you're going to sell your house for and how much you're going to put in your pocket, and then use those numbers to calculate with Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm what you're going to be able to afford for the budget on your new home, which then bounces back to us and our buyers team to help us start looking for the home that you want to move to after you sell your house, and figure if that's doable or not, and do all of that before you even think about putting the house on the market. Know your numbers, know your strategy, have a plan. That's how you win in this market. That's how you get the deals done in this market. The other thing is that if you're just a seller and you need to move out of the area, you really need to understand that if you're doing that, if you're using the money from the sale of your home to buy the new home, it's really important that your agent down here works very closely with whatever agent you're working in the other area to find your new home. I'm doing deals right now with, I'm dealing with a person named Lisa, whose family's moving from New Jersey, and Mike's already talked to them for the mortgage. Their family's moving from New Jersey and moving down here to Florida, looking for a second home. But now their son and their daughter's going to move down here, and we're figuring out everything about the whole thing. But they're selling their house in New Jersey to use the money for the house down here. So I've got to work very closely with the New Jersey agent to know what's going on in the terms of that contract. So I know what I can do down here when I can turn in offers for them, how to structure the offer properly. So
It's the old Jim. It's the old. You've got questions, we've got answers, right? Like
we've got the answers.
That one that you just one of their questions was, can we do that? Like, can we relocate down there and buy a home right away?
Yep.
And the answer was kind of, right? Like depending on a couple of factors, what's this going to look like? And I'm asking those questions. What's this going to look like? Okay, well, you need to wait for this and this and this and these pieces to fall in place. So
that was the Juan and Suray's family. Mike is working with another family that's moving from out of state and come down here. They're both, I think, from New Jersey, Mike, Lisa, and I think also Kathy and Rolando. So Kathy and Rolando are moving down here from, I think, New Jersey. And Lisa, I think, is from Garden City. But anyway, it doesn't matter. They're moving up from down here from up north. But because of the housing situation, the working situation for the type of employment they have and how they're going to do it down here, we realized that they're going to have to rent for like 6 months to 9 months to get situated so that Mike can qualify for the mortgage. So in their case, the answer was not right now. Let's come up with the plan for the transition so that you can be prepared when you're ready. So they got a short-term mortgage, short-term rental. They're very happy with it. And then we're going to start searching on the MLS now. So by the time that they get ready to buy a house, they're going to know the market backwards, forwards, and sideways. And they're not going to be wondering what's out there. They're going to know the market so well because they're going to be looking at the MLS for 3 to 4 months before they actually get in the car to go shopping. And that's the way you do it. You do it with a plan, you do it with intent, and you do it step by step by step.
That's exactly right. Or you can just throw the spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. That's not the method I would go. I would go to the pros. Your one-stop real estate shop, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. This is a team of experts in their field. Guys like Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Guys like Jim DiPaola, Keller Williams Innovations, running the Florida Home Pros team. Literally every member of this team is so good at what they do. They communicate with each other all the time because it's very important. So many of these pieces tie in to your outcome. They have to come together so you can get the outcome you're looking for. That's why you go to a team. You go to one place that specializes in just one thing. That's what they're going to push you to every time. Go to a team like Florida Talk Real Estate that has a lot of tools to choose from. Maybe you need to utilize this aspect, and we'll slide you over here to do this. That's about going to people with a wide range of expertise. And if they don't know, they know what they don't know. And if they don't know, they go to people that do know. It's having that team. Teams get things done, y'all. Teamwork makes the dream work. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. See the teamwork. Make your dream work. You want to do a little reset, or you want to plow right out through?
We're going to plow through because I want to talk about two mistakes people might make. Talk about spaghetti hitting the wall or making decisions without having the right professional help. I'm going to give you two real life examples.
I feel like we're mixing metaphors. Spaghetti. What do you do? What do you throw against the wall to make sure?
Spaghetti. You throw spaghetti against the wall.
It's done, right? That's the old plan, right?
Isn't it? You throw spaghetti against the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah. No, but you see what sticks. That's no, don't you throw something else to see what? I don't know. Maybe you're nailing spaghetti to the wall.
You throw against the spaghetti to the wall to see if it sticks.
Liquid dance.
All right.
So the first one is for sale by owner. Okay. So a lot of people are doing for sale by owner well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. A lot of people try to do for sale by owner in a market like this because it's very easy to find buyers because of the crazy market. But a lot of people can't sell their houses on for sale by owner because really it takes really, really good advertising and also vetting of the people, but also understanding contracts and negotiations and asking the right questions up front. And I was dealing, Paul Krasker from the law office of Paul A. Krasker reached out to me last week and said, hey, can you deal with Michelle? She has a situation. She was for sale by owner. I'm breaking her contract and now I'm moving on. And she needs to sell the house and I'm recommending that she talks to you. So I meet with Michelle and she decided that she had a condo that she needed to sell for her grandmother so that the grandmother can have the profits and then use it for a living facility that she needs to move into. So very serious, big time stuff. And Michelle's a younger woman with a brand new, beautiful baby. You know, they're young couple and they got big boy problems right now they got to deal with, right? So they went into a contract with one of these we buy houses fast for cash kind of companies. And when I sat down with her and what happened was they agreed to buy the house. My calculations showed it was a small condo. My calculations showed that they were probably paying 53 cents on the dollar. So of what the house is worth. And
in its current condition?
In the current, well, kinda, yeah. To be honest with you, yes. And 53 cents on the dollar. They wrote a contract that I've never seen before. It's not a Florida approved contract. It's just the contract that they created themselves, like they hired an attorney, or they're an investment company that like paid for a service that has this contract they use across the country. It didn't have any title information in there. The guy had very little, $2,500 deposit, very long close, and allowed him to flip it anytime he wanted. So even if he didn't want to close, he could flip the contract to somebody else and have them close in his place. And if they didn't close in his place, the seller had no recourse. And the seller was totally screwed. And the guy blew the closing by the investors blew the closing by like 2 weeks. And she didn't know what to do. And she tried to do all this by herself. She was very overwhelmed. So I explained to her what was going on. Paul said that the contract was broken and that she could definitely hire me to sell the house. And that's what we're going to be doing for her. But
can I ask a question on the contract? Was it an unenforceable contract? Is that what Paul said? Or he just said, no, the terms of the contract were not met?
The contract was crazy. I don't know if it was unenforceable or not, but that they didn't close on the date they had on the contract. So they had no recourse. Now, technically, she should get her $2,500 deposit. But the contract said there would be a $2,500 deposit made, but never stipulated what title company or anybody was going to hold on to that money. So she never got a receipt that the deposit was made. She doesn't even know who the title company was. Like 3 weeks into the deal, she didn't even know the name of the title company. Nobody had contacted her from the title company. They were just stringing along to flip the property to somebody else. I know that's what they were doing. So don't do that. Okay. For sale by owners, only like 10% of all houses sell for sale by owner. And 80% of the people put their house for sale by owner end up using an agent to sell the house.
Jeez.
So then what you do is you pay for all the for sale by owner costs. It usually costs you somewhere between $500 and $1,500 to do a for sale by owner, and then you give up, and then you don't want to do it anymore. So if you're a for sale by owner and you're sick of trying to be a for sale by owner and you realize you suck at being a for sale by owner, call us and I'll tell you what, if you show me the receipts of what you paid for your for sale by owner process, I'll work it out that I'll absorb those costs to go on and get your house sold. And I almost guarantee, because I don't know your house yet until you call me up, that I'm going to get more money for you than what you were going to be able to get for sale by owner most of the time.
At the very least, you're going to get more eyeballs on that property because the marketing's going to be unbelievably different.
But Michelle's property, I can pretty much guarantee that she's going to make tens of thousands of dollars more by working with me, tens of thousands of dollars more after paying real estate commissions.
After, right.
And after including paying the real estate commissions, tens of thousands of dollars more for a family that really needs the money.
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason that home, like, so we buy houses ugly?
It wasn't
like those are for like the houses that really like are going to have trouble selling in an MLS market, right? The real fixer uppers, or the like. Is there a reason she should have been selling to that type of savvy buyer?
See, this is what for sale by owner is usually two different types of people. Okay. The first type is they think that they don't need a realtor and that they can walk through the process themselves. And some do. 1 in 10 do. Okay. 1 in 10 that actually try it. Actually, well, not 1 in 10. 1 in 10 out of homes sold on the market do that. Okay. But 8 out of 10 that try fail. But the reason why they do it is because they feel that they can save them money. They don't realize that the negotiations, through negotiations and setting the price right and the advertising will get them more money. They don't realize that. The second type of people that do it is they don't want to go through the headache of it and they just want to do something fast. Yeah. And they just want something really fast. They don't want to have to put it on the market. They don't want to stage the property, just want to sell fast. We can do that for them with our services, right? Because we have access to all the investors. But so anyway, she made a big mistake. Now we're going to clean up the mess. She's going to make tens of thousands of dollars more. It's going to be awesome for her. Okay.
It sounds like it's going to be way better for her.
Yeah. No,
you can't do it. If you've been like struggling through a FSBO for sale by owner, Jim just laid it all out. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Get some information. Might change your whole path. It might put a bunch of more money in your pockets too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now the other thing that spaghetti against the wall to see if it sticks is remember Paul on the anniversary show in January said that in mid-February he was expecting to see more foreclosure actions based on the COVID protections that were lifted.
Yep.
Well, last week we got our first panicked COVID foreclosure case. And it was kind of interesting how it happened.
So let me ask you real quick. Was this a forbearance situation?
Well, kind of. Okay. So, yeah. So what happened was this. The guy's mom, there's my guy named Glenn. He calls us up. His mom passed. They quick claimed the property to the kids before she passed. And then it went into foreclosure. It's been in foreclosure for quite a while, but now because of the Foreclosure Prevention Act, they weren't really allowed to foreclose on them, I think, or they didn't want to mess with it until the foreclosure stuff was lifted. The COVID protections were lifted. So now they're really pushing hard on the foreclosure. He wasn't a foreclosure forbearance. Okay. But I think he got protections from the COVID. The bank treated it like it was a COVID deal until the protections were lifted. Now they're going after. Is that kind of true, Mike? Because Mike was.
No, I think it was the counties. The counties were not processing foreclosure actions at all during, basically for 2 years, right? So beginning of 2020 all the way till kind of just recently. And I think this is Johnny. So this is one of the ones where the house was in trouble before COVID, right?
Yes.
And so they were able to, they kind of by default got an additional 2 years, two
Yeah, they
years of
got
delay.
lucky. They got
Um,
lucky that
but
the bank didn't do anything with them in the courts.
yeah,
The
this
courts
is an
weren't
example
processing.
of once the courts now have opened up, these are the ones that are really going to get processed very quickly through. I mean, you can see it, Jim. Like
Yes.
I think he's like they're called like he's getting notices, right? He's getting served papers. Like this is that they're just like moving. They're not waiting around,
Yeah.
especially if you were in trouble before the COVID protections went
Yep.
in
So
place.
Glenn is getting pounded by the bank right now. But also, what happened is
But the other thing, he's not in default on the loan, right? He had no part of the loan. He just happened to inherit a
he
home
owns the
that had a loan.
property, but he
Yeah,
isn't connected to the loan.
yeah.
So what happened is how he found us. He isn't a fan of the show. What happened is that one of his friends was saved from foreclosure by us back in the day. And when he heard his buddy was in foreclosure, he's like, "You got to call that guy from the radio show." So he called us up this week directly from the hotline, the 888 number, right? 888-973-7828. So what happened is he called up and he was in a panic and he's like, "Look, I quit claimed the deed over to me. I think I only owe X amount of dollars." Based on what he said he owed, I was like, "You have a lot of equity in that house." I didn't see the house, but I could tell right away based on his description. I go, "You have a lot of equity, more than six figures, low six figures you have on that house." Well, so the first thing we did is we got him over to Mike. Okay, so this is our waterfall process. So what we were trying to do is to figure out if there was a way they could either get a new mortgage to pay off the old mortgage or do something like that. So we got him over to Mike, and I was hoping that the brothers could just get a mortgage
Just
and
kind of
do
buy
it
the home.
and buy the home, right? That was my idea. Well, that was because this is the waterfall process. So what happened, Mike? That was my brainiac idea. So why did that
Yeah, no,
idea?
it's a good idea. It's like just ultimately, like initially they want to save the house. They want to keep the house, right? So
Mhm.
okay, what do we do? So can they buy it somewhere? No, they're already owners of the home, Johnny. So it has to be a refinance. Unfortunately, with the mortgage, the existing liens are, I don't know all the details, but it's behind, right? It's got a foreclosure case that's active. So obviously that mortgage has not been paid for some amount of time. If the mortgage isn't current, you can't refinance it, right? Even though it's not their mortgage, you can't do what they kind of term it like a bailout, right? Now you could sell the home. It's kind of weird because they could sell the home and somebody else could pay off that mortgage, right? And like, well, why can't they do? I don't know. They're currently connected to the property, so they can't.
So then after Mike said, "No, we can't do that," that was plan A, right?
And
Because
that's not without even knowing like what the balance is or anything. I just know if it's behind, if it's active foreclosure, you're just not going to be able to qualify. Yeah.
So when that didn't work, because we always try to explore more options, right? All the options for the owner so they can decide, should I sell, should I buy, what do I need to do?
So loan
now
bonds not an option?
Well, that's what we were going to do. We went over to the law office of Paulie Krasker, which specializes in foreclosure defense, loan modifications, and short sales.
It's
Right?
funny, Jim. You talk about the waterfall. So we're like the stream, the initial part of the stream, the trickling. Now we're getting down to Krasker, where that waterfall just like broadens, and like now you have all of the options that Krasker's office deals with.
Well, not really. This
Well,
is a little trickle on this one. So this is what happened is that because the family did the quick claim deed without talking to the proper attorneys, the way they did it was legal. So the brothers do have claim to the house, but the mortgage, the mortgage was ignored in that process, and they didn't do a formal probate, I guess, or an estate planning. And because they didn't do any of that, they just did the quick claim deed. They don't have the option of even trying to do a loan mod. They can't even do the loan mod because if they had gone through the attorneys, any attorney, there would have been a process where they might have had the ability to do a loan modification.
So,
Right.
and that's through the probate. That's more attaching them to the loan, right? So
Yeah.
the quick
Yes.
claim gets them, the right to the property through their mom, but it's about attaching the loan so that they can get the process of doing a loan mod done. They're not attached to the loan, I guess, kind of is the best way to say it, right?
Yeah,
if
exactly.
ownership
That's exactly it. So they own the property, but there's still a mortgage lien on it that they don't have control over. It's like with the person that passed. Go ahead, Mike.
they also, so you can't just kind of your own volition change owners of the property and detach somebody who signed the note, right? That's attached to that. But you can't just like, Johnny,
I'm
you
not
have a home,
obligated
the
anymore.
mortgage, right? You just transfer it to some dude off the street. You could do that. The county's going to let you do that, and you have now quit your claim to the house. But guess what? That loan that's attached to the property is now due in full,
Yes,
right? It's
that's right.
now,
It's called accelerating the mortgage. It's an
yeah, they're going to accelerate
acceleration.
when you
And
do
as
that.
far as who controls that property, you might have the quick claim, but the mortgage holder is the one that's in real
I mean,
control of
this
that home.
this is the old, and I'm not saying they were doing this, but this is like people. Oh, Johnny, I'm going to help. You're in trouble on your property. Go ahead and transfer title over to me. Now I can do whatever I want. I can sell it. I'm not going to pay your mortgage, right? Let them foreclose. I don't care. I got no skin in the game.
Right.
Yep.
I'm gonna rent it out for the next 2 years while they're
Right.
processing this
So
foreclosure.
with this one, we couldn't do the loan mod. So then Tony Lucavoli, you know Tony, Johnny,
Yeah.
Tony Lucavoli from the law office of Pauly Krasker, they
He's
went
been
a
on the
little
show a
deeper.
bunch of times over the years. Tony's awesome.
Tony's awesome, yeah. And we went through he went through the mortgage history, and what he found out is what the brothers thought was a mortgage that was they thought they owed very little on the mortgage, but what they found out is that the mom had been in a loan mod in the past, and that there was a big deferred payment on the back end, and they didn't even know about that. So when you added that with the mortgage that they thought they owed, and you add the
Yeah.
two numbers, the house was way upside down.
And it's
By
like,
over.
how would they ever know this unless they were really like connected
Mhm.
with the mom? I think the brothers just kind of inherited the home, like, and
Yeah,
Johnny,
that's
it was
exactly.
something like she had a modification where the interest bearing principal was, I don't know, 100, whatever number he told you, Jim, 100 something thousand. But then there's this
Bubble.
big balloon,
Like triple.
non-interest bearing, triple the principal that they probably had no idea existed. And so now their equity
Yeah, so
position, Jim,
so
doesn't
now the
exist.
house is totally upside down.
Yeah.
So there's no financial benefit for the brothers to do anything. They could let the house go into foreclosure, let the bank take it back. They won't have any financial damage to them. So
That was my
that's what
question.
the
That's my question. So
recommendation.
if they want the property, they want to keep the property, obviously. But
Mhm.
if they can't find a solution, through the team, and it does get foreclosed, it's not going to affect their financial outlook, their credit, their ability to get a loan
That's right.
at all.
Right, because they're not connected to that mortgage, which is the whole reason why they can't do what they want with the property. So it's
That's
kind of a good thing and a bad thing because they're going to lose the house, but they're not going to be affected financially in any way.
Yeah.
right.
I think it's a very, it's weird that they don't have the equity position. Like it's a very unique circumstance that they're not in a positive equity position, because then, Jim, of course, the straight sale would be the answer all day long, right?
Hmm.
Before you eat up all your equity, you sell the home and you guys,
Yeah.
hopefully walk away with some cash. But
And it wouldn't even
they
be a short sale. We're talking about just you'd list
a
it.
straight sale, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
what we
think
were hoping.
I-
That's what we thought was going to happen. We said, okay, the worst that's going to happen, you sell the house, you make a lot of money. But
right,
now it's
right.
upside down. So
And that's like the parting message. I know we're short on time, but their situation was very unique. But there are people who are in trouble in a similar manner who may be looking at an upcoming foreclosure if they kind of do nothing, and they're probably in positive equity positions. And so before it gets that far, you need to kind of
If he had
maintain that.
called us, if he had called us before he did the quick claim deed and needed to do the probate, we would have got him all the information for free, and he could have made a real, decision that would have been best for his family. So do that. It's free. It's a free consultation, and not just with us, with everybody that you need. It's free.
I know that's one of the big entry point barriers for so many folks is why I don't have the money. Well, look, information is free. The contact is free. The positioning is free. We'll work together on getting your money saved up so you can get what you're looking to get done. That's buying a home. Yeah, hey, we want that goal for you too. Get the information, get locked in with a team of pros, and get on the right path becoming a homeowner. Florida Talk Real Estate is your one-stop real estate shop. And I recommend you write it down, share it, and you never know who you could absolutely change their life by introducing them to this team. So many things they can do. Buy a home, sell a home, stuck with a home you don't know what to do. Student loans is going to be another big issue coming up here soon. It is a huge impact for a lot of folks trying to buy a home. And as we're getting out of all the COVID-related issues and the protections that were in place for people, they're getting lifted, and those problems are going to really manifest themselves. You got to get ahead of them. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Let's get it done. Get it done the right way with a wonderful team at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Mike Rauch, hope you have a nice weekend, my friend. Nice to see you.
You too. Thanks, everybody.
Jimmy D, how long are you in Orlando?
Tuesday, believe it or not.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How you like your
Three-day
hotel room?
weekend.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah? Give us a
Yeah.
little tour. What do you got? Let me see.
I'm sorry, what?
Give us a little tour. What do you got? Let me see.
I can't even, let me see here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my bed's not made.
Mine's not either. Don't worry about it. There's a maid coming, I promise. Thank you for tuning in with us every single Saturday. We'll be back at it next Saturday, 9 a.m. until 11. We give you 2 hours of infotainment every single Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate, also at .com, Facebook, YouTube. Know it, use it, love it, share it. And stick around. You got Greek and Joe, Jimothy. They're going to take you for the next 4 hours. It's The Locker Room, and it's right here on Real Radio.